Good morning. It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Today is Tuesday. It is May 27th. And can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? Please let me know where you guys are watching from. Here in a minute, we'll do our morning shout outs. I appreciate you guys being here each and every day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time. Today on the show, we have a great show lined up for you. Dove into a little bit more about John Gazzaniga out of California, who's a preferred walk-on quarterback. I'll be talking about that in just a few minutes. I did some intel, and I actually talked to a source that spoke about John and kind of what to anticipate for the quarterback who announced over the weekend that he will be coming to the University of Alabama. Now, please note, he is a preferred walk-on, so I'll explain more about that going forward. Also on the show today, we have a weekend visitors list, right? We'll be talking about many big-time prospects from across, the entire country that will be coming to Tuscaloosa on official visits. You also have a quarterback, Jet Thamala, who is currently committed to Iowa State. He'll be taking an unofficial visit. We'll go over detail the prospects that will be visiting Tuscaloosa from the 30th to June 2nd. That'll be on the show today. We'll also go over John Gazzaniga, as I mentioned, and got some good intel there. And I asked kind of the most challenging 3 games on our Facebook page, and we'll kind of bring that to the forefront. So the 3 most challenging games and kind of what we're expecting as we look to Alabama's schedule. The Crimson Tide now a 12.5-point favorite in the opener against Florida State. And then we'll highlight some of the high points at the SEC spring meetings, which is taking place this week in Destin, Florida. All right, so a lot to cover today. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll do some morning shout outs in just a second. I appreciate you guys. So please let me know where you're watching from inside the comment box. Always eager to know where you guys are watching from. And, it's been amazing to see kind of the growth of the community. Even I get it. It's summertime, but man, we have people watching from all over the great country. Here is today's Bama raffle. We're actually doing a 2-for-1 today. This is the first time we've done a 2-for-1. We'll do our morning shout outs in just a minute. So $5 to enter, up to 3 opportunities. We got Chad and Dan are the early additions. So $5 to enter, up to 3 opportunities. So 2-for-1. You got 2 hats. These are both from Athlete's Thread. A portion of that goes back to the Tuscaloosa Soup Kitchen. Ways to get into the raffle: Venmo, Bama Score, Bama_YouTube, or Cash App Bama YouTube. All right. I'll show this periodically throughout the show today. So 2 hats for 1, $5 entry. All right. Jeff, good morning to you. I see you inside the comment box. You guys ready for some morning shout outs? All right, let's do them. Actually, give me 1 second real fast. And you get I like to get the comments on the screen. That always makes it a little bit more personable. So give me 1 second. This takes a little bit of back-end detail work. And remember, I do all the editing and I do all the stuff, back here by myself. So I appreciate you giving me some grace sometimes where I have to do, some technical stuff. Doesn't take me long. So just hang in there. Almost done. And then we'll do our morning shout outs and then we'll get away along with the show. Rainy morning here in Tuscaloosa. Really rainy. I didn't anticipate it to be this rainy. 1 second. We're almost ready for our morning shout outs. All right, here we go. That. All right. Okay, let's see who's locked in today. I appreciate you guys. We got 72 people in here. We should have 72 thumbs up. All right, Max Tooney, good morning to you, bro. I really hope that you're off to an amazing start. Good morning to you. Always here, perfect attendance. Chad Kennedy, a faithful follower and a faithful player of our raffle game. Thank you so much, Chad. Young C, man, it's been good to see you recently up inside the comment box. The artist formerly known as Sean. What's up, Sean? Good to see you, bro. Jeff Stapleton. Man, Jeff has been here for a long time. Jeff, depending on the work schedule, used to call in. So it's always good to see Jeff inside the comment box. Good morning to you, bro. Chris Waldman, good morning, bro. Thank you so much for being here. Wade Burns, what's up? Kaylin Childress, good morning to you. Ron Self, always coming to us. It says, Roll Tide forever and always. Anita, what's up? Good morning. Hope you're off to an amazing start. Austin Cortez, man, coming to us from Houston, Texas. You know, it's been a minute since I've been to Houston. I need to go back to Houston. I heard that the Houston food scene is just absolutely on fire. Nicole, what's up? Good morning to you. Samuel, what's up, man? John Shannon, Cam TV says Ryan Williams on the cover of College Football 26. Man, I can't wait to get on the sticks with Ryan Williams, right? And the game should be dropping, what, in July, I would imagine? Dan Caraway, what's up, man? Good morning to you. Southern Red, I see you inside the comment box. Hacker Music's like, it's too rainy to work, so I might as well listen to the show. That's what's up, man. Jeff, I honestly don't care who they get. I'm ready for the season to start, and whoever they start, I'm good for it. Jeff's just ready for some football. I hear you, man. Me too. Chris Waldman, man, good to see you again. Mudgeon, 18, Roll Tide Roll, what's up? Rory McIlroy is up here. That's what's up, man. It's good to see you. Alyssa's coming to us from Georgia. Sean Lewis from Panama City. Oh, and Rory, just to make it clear, is from Victoria, Texas. All right, man. It's good. Good to see everybody up inside the comment box. Good morning to everybody that is here. And before I get going, I just want you guys to know that I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you guys that are here this morning. And I really appreciated the show. It's dedicated to you guys always. I try to put my best foot forward on all the shows. Every single show comes from the bottom of my heart. So thank you very much for being here. And let's start it up. All right. Thank you so much. This is going to be a good show. Promise you. All right. The weekend official visitors. All right. I don't talk a lot of recruiting. I feel that recruiting has certainly changed. I'm not happy about this. I would like to talk more about high school recruiting. But I feel that since the transfer portal impacted college football, unfortunately, high school recruiting and the interest around high school football recruiting took kind of a nosedive. It's unfortunate because I lived in that space for a long time. And I couldn't wait to see where the high school prospects would go. It was so interesting to see these young men go their freshman year, watch them develop, and eventually get on the field. That's not the case anymore, right? We're kind of in the pay for play. And while it's important to build a recruiting class, the more interesting aspect and the more interesting pieces of news are around the transfer portal. With that said, it has been impressive what Coach Kalen DeBoer and Courtney Morgan have done in their first year with the recruiting class. And right now, as I'm about to go through the prospects that are visiting over the weekend, they've done a really good job. And I get it. They don't have an overwhelming volume of committed prospects at this point, but the prospects that they do have are very high caliber prospects. Keep in mind when we go through this list that these prospects that are coming in are from all over the country. It doesn't seem like there's one particular hotspot or pipeline that they're really going to. I think if you were to, let me ask you this as I kind of go through this. Where would you say a strong pipeline seems to be for Coach Kalen DeBoer outside of California? It seems like California is a hotspot for him. I get it. I mean, shoot, bringing prospects from California, I'm not mad about it, right? And of course, in-state recruiting still matters. And I have a feeling that Alabama will land some really good in-state prospects this year. But let's see who's here. And I would stay informed with your On3, your 24/7, your Andrew Bones, your Brett Greenberg, as we get through this summer period of recruiting. Those guys got the scoop. We'll talk about the prospects that are coming in for a deeper dive. Kick it with your recruiting guys. This next segment is sponsored by Sonic, America's Drive-In in West Memphis and in Arkansas. Also Marion, Arkansas, where I-55 and I-40 hit. So if you're in the area, if you're cruising through, hit up that Sonic. Grab yourself an ocean water, a cheese coney. Tell them Kyle Henderson at Bama Football on YouTube sent you. And if you want to be a sponsor out there on the show, I would sincerely appreciate it. Hit me up with the email, nmpreps@gmail.com. About to hit that cheese coney for lunch. All right, so I'll go full screen on some of these, and I'll kind of come in and out. But keep in mind, this is an unofficial visit for Jet the Mala, right? He's an incoming prospect. He's 6'5", 200 pounds. He's currently committed to Iowa State. This isn't an official visit. This is an unofficial visit. And he's coming this week between the 30th and the 1st. There'll be a ton of guys in. Research this guy's highlights. This guy is a fantastic athlete. I've seen him play basketball, some highlights on Huddle. Yo, fantastic athlete, right? 6'5". I like the fact that they seem to be going after taller quarterbacks. That maybe that's just coincidental. It seems to me, does it seem to you as well, that Coach Kalen DeBoer kind of has his eye on a quarterback that is, that's 6'4" to almost 6'7" range. And we'll talk about John Gazzaniga, who just announced that he's coming in just a minute. But in terms of Jet coming, Steve Whitfong of On3 had an article with him and said, he was quoted by saying, the opportunity to go to Alabama is too big to just bypass, even though he is currently committed to Iowa State. I mean, look, Iowa State, they've had some successful seasons, but there's a big difference between, the football at Ames and the football here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Now, when you look to the quarterback situation with the Crimson Tide, you're probably going to have a quarterback that's here for quite some time after Ty Simpson, because Keelan Russell, he's the guy. Austin Mack is only 19 years old. So a quarterback that does decide to come here, and they will get a quarterback within this class. I don't know who it'll be, but that quarterback is going to have to understand that there's guys ahead of you, and you're going to have to, work on your developmental process before you get on the field here at Alabama. So I think if I'm reverse recruiting against Alabama, I'm telling that prospect, if I'm Iowa State, I'm like, okay, go to Alabama, but just remember that Keelan Russell is just a freshman, and right now they have tabbed as a starter Ty Simpson, which means you're probably not going to play at Alabama for at least 3-4 seasons. So can you go and be patient and wait for your opportunity? So if I'm reverse recruiting against Alabama, that's what I'm talking about. Jet, a hell of a player, though. Definitely check it out of Nebraska. You also have Bryson Cooley. I'll kind of just go through a list of guys that are coming through from May 30th through June 2nd. Most of these other guys are all official visitors. Now, keep in mind that these particular prospects, they're from all over the country. This guy's not far out of West Jones and Laurel, Mississippi, right? Offensive tackle, 6'6", 285 pounds. On3 has him as a 4-star. These graphics from On3's interface. I'm not employed by On3 or 24/7. I'm independent. I like On3's interface. It makes more sense to me. That's why I use it. JJ Finch, he's coming in. He's a 3-star prospect. He is out of Indiana, 6'3", 260 pounds. He's a defensive lineman. And another thing that I'd like to do kind of going forward is look to Alabama's needs after this particular class. And what I mean roster. What would you say, like, next year's roster, where are the needs at? And it's hard to say that because we don't know with all these different rules and players can come back, and I just don't. It's hard to tell what the needs are. Plus, if you have a real need, you just go to the transfer portal, pay the dude whatever he wants, and you bring him in, and the problem fixed, right? Deacon Schmidt is coming in, 6'5", 310 pounds, out of Colorado, right? Windsor, Colorado. He's a 4-star and the #1 player in Colorado. That's definitely notable. You got Braden Rouse. He's coming in, 6'3", 205 pounds, the number 11th overall player in the state of Georgia. 6'3", 205 pounds. Alabama brought in Luke Metz last year from Georgia. I would have thought that Georgia could have landed Luke Metz, but man, that guy was all Alabama throughout his recruiting process. Ryan Mosley out of Georgia, 6'2", 205 pounds. They have him listed as an athlete right here, the number 26 prospect in Georgia. Kevin Ford, edge rusher, 6'3", 245 pounds, 4-star out of Duncanville, Texas, right? Duncanville, they produced some prospects, right? A couple of those guys out of Texas on Alabama's roster right now. So this is a 4-star, the number 18 player in Texas. Remember, Alabama signed the number 1 player in Texas last year in Keelan Russell. You got Xavier Tiller, right? At tight end, 6'5", 215 pounds, out of Georgia. Number 22 player out of the state of Georgia. Titan Davis. I love it. Name your kid Titan. I love that. 6'4", 262 pounds, 4-star, the number 2 player in the state of Missouri. Now, these prospects that we're talking about right here, they'll all be on campus here in Tuscaloosa from May 30th through June 1st. All right. Chad Kennedy saying Mosley is a wide receiver. Thanks for the intel on that. Malachi Lee, 6'7", 310 pounds. Yes, please, out of Hawaii. Man, Malachi Lee, 6'10", 310 pounds out of Hawaii. I saw the coaches in Hawaii recently. They were obviously visiting Malachi. I'm saying full court press on any offensive tackle from Hawaii. Full court press. Can we get a full court press on Malachi, please, Coach Caitlin DeBoer? We got a super chat up in the house. After this season, the offensive line and defensive line are going to be young. We'll probably be looking to add heavily in those particular areas. And that's coming from Big Bama inside the comment box. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Big Bama. We got Sincere Johnson coming in, 6'3", 235 pounds. He is out of Ohio. You know that Alabama's not afraid to go to the state of Ohio, right? Still amazing that Coach Caitlin DeBoer went into the state last year and pulled out Justin Hill. My goodness. I also love the name, Sincere Johnson. That's what's up. Number 2 player in the state of Ohio. See what I'm saying? All these players from across the country, it doesn't seem like there's one particular pipeline. It seems like, maybe I missed it inside the comment box, after California being a pipeline, what would you say the next pipeline is for Coach Caitlin DeBoer? It might be, is it Georgia? All right, here we got Nolan Wilson out of Mississippi, 6'4", 250 pounds, defensive lineman. The number 3 player in the state of Mississippi. Booby Feaster, yes, please. Out of DeSoto. Yo, DeSoto, oh my goodness. That high school is synonymous with some absolutely outstanding players. Wide receiver, 6 foot, 175 pounds. Number 6 overall prospect in the Lone Star State. KJ Edwards. All right, eyes up. Here's some homework for you, okay? Maybe tomorrow we'll do we'll showcase some of the highlights. KJ Edwards, look, I know we all want Xavier Crowell, who will be announcing on June 26th, I believe, a couple days after his visit with the Alabama Crimson Tide. KJ Edwards, 5'10", 180 pounds, out of Carthage, Texas. Yo, absolutely phenomenal running back. Over 2,000 yards. His highlights are phenomenal. He's kind of a scat back type running back, right? He's got absolute speed. So that's KJ Edwards. He's coming in. And I wouldn't see like him coming in as kind of like a backup plan to anybody to like, you know, if they don't get Xavier Crowell. I mean, bring him in. You need the best players, period. Luis talking about Booby, right? Remember, who's a character synonymous with the name Booby? What book turned movie turned sitcom had the player named Booby? Sound off inside the comment box. You better get this right. All right, you got Jet Washington. What these names are? I'm loving this. Jet Washington, yes, and he's a safety, 6'4". The other thing that has stood out to me about Coach Caitlin DeBoer and Courtney Morgan's recruiting is that they're going after lengthier type corners and safeties. I mean, you imagine you get Jordan Edmonds, you have Dejon Lee. I don't know, things work out with Jet Washington, and I don't know where these guys are in terms of like, you know, close to committing or whatever. I just know that they're in town this weekend. Like I said, stay close to all your recruiting guys for the insight. You see what I'm saying? You get a safety who's 6'5". Yes, please. I'm not mad about the length at all. And everybody got the trivia question. That's Booby Miles, running back. Midland. Permian, right? Friday Night Lights. All right, so those are the prospects that are in town from May 30th through June 1st, 2nd. Stay close to your recruiting sites as we cruise through the summertime. Today's Bama raffle is actually a 2-for-1. So if you haven't gotten in, now is your opportunity to get into the raffle. $5 up to 3 opportunities. Bama_YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube. I actually like both of these hats. I'm more of a flat brim type hat, but I rock with this too. I rock this one backwards and this one forwards. We only have Chad and Dan up in the raffle. So if you want to get in, get in. And Jawan's right. We got 138 up in here and 12 likes. Yeah, we got to up that ratio. All right, I'll come back to the raffle at the end of the show. But if you want to get in, $5 Bama_YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube. Portion of that goes back to the Tuscaloosa Soup Kitchen. We made a drop last week. See if I can show that. It was the second time that we've been to the Tuscaloosa Soup Kitchen. Visited with Miss Susan, who's a wonderful lady. She spearheads the Tuscaloosa Soup Kitchen, so appreciate it. We've made a couple different 2 drops so far in the last 2 months to the Tuscaloosa Soup Kitchen here in Tuscaloosa. So I appreciate you guys helping put food on the table. We've actually helped over 250 meals that we've helped so far. So really awesome. All right. I wanted to talk about John Gazzaniga because like you, I mean, you guys brought it to my attention. I didn't even really know. I didn't see him. And he's the quarterback that announced over the weekend that he was coming to Alabama, right? So, following information is about what we learned from John Gazzaniga. All right, Army 3275, I got you in the raffle. First thing that really stood out when I saw John Gazzaniga and I kind of dove into it was his height. I mean, 6'7", and I don't know if it's coincidental because Austin Mack, let's face it, Austin Mack is not 6'6". He is 6'7". Okay. Put a helmet on him, he looks like he's 6'9". Austin Mack is the quarterback that followed Coach Kalen DeBoer from Washington over here to Alabama. And he had a wonderful spring. Okay. This segment is sponsored by, if you want to sponsor the segment, hit me up, nmpreps@gmail.com. Patriot Life, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Yeah, super chats work as well for the entry. All right, got you in here twice, Brady G. Same thing with you, Patriot Life. All right, so I talked to a source about John Gazzaniga, okay? I was really interested because a lot of different reasons. Quarterback, 6'7", I needed to find out more, right? So I reached out to a source, and I posted this on the Facebook channel this morning in case you missed it. And the number one thing to know is, and I think as soon as you saw a quarterback coming in, you might have thought, oh, that means somebody is leaving. That is not the case, okay? These guys aren't leaving. That doesn't mean that. So let that calm your nerves. The focus of the quarterback room is still on Ty Simpson, Keelan Russell, and Austin Mack. Okay. John Gazzaniga is a really good athlete out of California. Source told me that he will not play quarterback as starter, as a backup, as a reserve at Alabama. He's coming here as a scout team type prospect. And the source said that he wouldn't be surprised if eventually John Gazzaniga plays another position other than quarterback. Maybe tight end. I know you're like, another tight end? Look, I don't know. Right now, we know he's a quarterback. He had 1,900 yards during his last season of high school. Santa Margarita Catholic. He's probably familiar because Carson Palmer, right? He played for him. But the other thing is, this young man did not sign with the program out of the class of 2025. I think he had a couple offers on the table, but he didn't sign anywhere. So he comes over to Alabama, and I think he has a connection with Nick Sheridan, who's a quarterback's coach. So I just wanted to put that out there because I know as soon as you saw that, you probably thought, oh my goodness, another quarterback coming in. That's going to mean one quarterback leaving. That doesn't mean that at all. So coincidental that he is 6'7". I think it is noteworthy that he is that tall, but he's coming over here as strictly scout team. Big dude. Who knows? I mean, I looked over his highlight tape. The guy definitely has athleticism. I saw him running around, and it was somewhat impressive to me. Not gonna lie. All right, so we got to get this up because I just saw it drop. Okay. Ryan Williams, you guys have been mentioning it inside the comment box on the cover of College Football 26. You guys want to see that? I'll add it to the screen because it's absolutely fire. Give me 1 second. Got to do some quick editing real fast. See if I can find it. Man, that's clean. Just wait till you see this. There's a couple different spots. He's right next to Jeremiah Smith. This is tight. You guys are going to like this. And I appreciate you guys giving me grace on the editing. As I said, I do all the editing in-house, just myself. It's fine. I don't mind it. Damn, this is fire. All right, look at Ryan Williams on the cover of NCAA football. Can we get a thumbs up for this? Yo, can we get a thumbs up for this cover? Last year's cover, meh, kind of mid. All right, kind of mid. Yo, this one's fire. This is tight. Let's go full screen on this. Because last year the players were like looking into a field. This one is like, look, who do we see up here? Is Tim Tebow's in here too? I see James Franklin. Is Coach Kalen DeBoer in here? I see Kirby Smart. I see Ryan Day. I see Caleb Downs. I see Garrett Nussmeier. Yo, this is a tight. I really like this. Hey, Piano Man, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Yeah, this was much. This is it. There's another. I think there's another one as well that came out, and it's just Ryan Williams. So after the show, go check it out. This makes me happy. I love the game. And last year, And I'll do it again this year. It was just really stressful for me, but I downloaded the game and I hadn't played the game in years. And I streamed the game. I literally turned it on and started streaming. And for whatever reason, Brian Williams was number 7. And I was utilizing him as a freshman. But I was playing the game like just straight up, and I was streaming, and I went into triple overtime. Remember this? Who remembers this? Against Western Kentucky, and I threw a Hail Mary to win that. And the next game I threw a Hail Mary. I eventually made it to the championship game, and I lost to Oregon. I mismanaged the final series. That was on me. It was a coaching decision. So this coming season, see if I can get back to the championship. I'll stream it on here. It was just hard. And it was stressful because you guys were inside the comment box, criticizing my defense. I could not stop the pass. And I didn't practice. I literally turned the game on and just started playing. Anyways, here's the cover of College Football 26. At least one of them. And there's our favorite right here, Ryan Williams. All right. A couple more things to get through on the show. So I asked this to our Facebook community. I said, the most challenging 3 games this season. What are they going to be, right? So go ahead inside the comment box. Who do you think the most challenging 3 games will be this season? So here's a look at the schedule. We've seen it. We've talked about it before. Right? And I think when I quickly look at this schedule, games that stand out clearly, the big one against Georgia. Although a side note is, it seems to me like we've been talking as we feel that Georgia might take a little step back. And while that might be the truth, the game is still on the road at Sanford Stadium, right? That's challenging, especially with the fact that you have 3 games before that where you're trying to get your special teams in order. I think if things go Georgia's way, I would probably predict it's because the special teams at this point in time is not ready for this type of environment. But I don't know if Georgia's going to be just better talent-wise than Alabama, right? Okay, Vanderbilt, look, they're a better team because of where college football is. You got an experienced quarterback. Missouri, can't let that be a trap game. Tennessee lost their quarterback. It's in Bryant-Denny Stadium. I certainly put South Carolina there, and I put Auburn there at the back end. Those are my 2 games that I feel will be most challenging, and Georgia. So you ask me, I go number 1, Auburn, number 2, South Carolina, number 3, Georgia. And those are all road games. And the reason I put Auburn as the most challenging is because it's over there. It's just that game's always the most challenging when it's at Jordan-Hare, period. I don't know why. I have no idea why. Actually, I do. It's a rivalry game. So who the hell knows, right? Our fans on Facebook, get inside our Facebook community. They had this to say. Kyle Boltwood up top says, not a single one. I'm serious when I say we could run the table. Austin Allen says, Georgia, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Chad Howard says, Auburn, Tennessee, and South Carolina. See, I don't know about Tennessee because the game will be here at Bryant-Denny. I think their defense will be pretty good. Who knows about their quarterback situation? Brandon Thomas says South Carolina, LSU, and maybe Oklahoma. Oklahoma, that could be an interesting one because of their quarterback that they got, right? Jason Sasher says Georgia, Tennessee, and LSU. Red says Georgia, South Carolina, and Auburn. I think we lose close to South Carolina. I also think we lose 2 games, but I think these will be our toughest. And Brad at the bottom says Georgia, Auburn, and South Carolina. Exactly what I said. So, interesting, point to ponder when you think about the most challenging games going into the season. All right. Last part of our segment, we're going to go to the SEC spring meetings. All right. Taking place this week down in Destin. I'll hit on some high points. And there's some interesting comments that are floating around right now from Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC. one of the hot topics clearly is the playoffs moving from 12 teams rather, to 14 to 16. It's going to be 16 in my opinion. I think a lot of people are having trouble with the fact that the SEC and the Big Ten are trying to get 8 of those spots reserved for those 2 conferences. But let's face it, the other conferences that exist, even the Power 4, the ACC and the Big 12. Let me ask you this inside the comment box. Just straight up, honestly, do you feel that the Big 10 and the SEC are on a different level, talent-wise, than the Big 12 and the ACC? I really do. I feel that you have those 2 conferences up top, and then you have the ACC and the Big 12. They're not the same talent-wise. You put a Miami, you put a Clemson, you put a SMU into the SEC meat grinder, they get ground up, period. So it's only right that you have your 2 power conferences have 8 spots out of the 16. So that's a hot topic that they're discussing right now. I would imagine that the SEC eventually goes to 9 SEC games. And who knows, maybe the championship game is eliminated, right? I like the championship game, but I think it penalizes teams at the back end of the season, where that should have been something that you look forward to doing. Actually, now you get to the SEC championship game or the Big Ten championship game, you're like, man, we don't want any injuries. We don't want to lose on a national stage because, let's face it, at this point in time, the way that the playoffs are decided is by playing a light schedule and having a better overall record. In fact, Greg Sankey said that having less losses, Indiana's schedule, that outweighs Alabama's schedule with a win over Georgia. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. Another hot topic is Tennessee versus the NCAA. So what that means is the state of Tennessee passed a bill that says that they don't have to listen to the NCAA rules when it comes to pay for play, meaning that all the other teams in the NCAA would have to listen to the NCAA. All the teams in the SEC would have to listen to the NCAA, but Tennessee doesn't have to because this bill was passed. Tennessee's always doing something outside of the box. And I don't know, you go forward and Tennessee's playing by these rules and these other teams are playing by theirs. Clearly, it's going to create problems, right? That is the worst. That thing right there, Tennessee versus the NCAA, if you want to go and look it up, it's crazy. Because it means that Tennessee can still be basically purchasing players while everybody else has to follow specific guidelines. Just wait. That's going to be crazy. That could completely just blow. That could be a turning point for teams to actually leave the NCAA. I'm serious. And I think in the future, I think that their teams will leave the NCAA. I don't know when, but I think that teams will leave the NCAA and create their own conference or their own league, rather. Just wait. We've discussed this. Coaches want a portal window in January rather than all over the place, right? Rather than 2 portal windows, they want one specific portal window, which would be in January. I think Courtney Morgan said that they would want a transfer portal window when the season is done for everybody. So let all the teams finish and then have a transfer portal window. Seems like that makes a little bit more sense, right? And then lastly, another item that they're hitting on is OTAs. So spring football is still going to exist. Spring games probably won't, right? So we probably saw our last spring football game, I don't know, a couple years ago. But what's coming to college football will be OTAs. So it'll be 20 practices. I think right now they get, 16? And these OTA practices can be held over a course of spring and summer. So I don't know. I think along with OTAs, does that mean that maybe we do eventually get that Syracuse and Colorado practicing against each other for a couple days? Maybe that's coming to college football, kind of like it does exist in the NFL. Who knows? I don't know. But those will be some issues that will be high pointed this week at the SEC spring meetings. So I'll give you guys a couple more minutes to get into the raffle. I'm going to do, we'll spin, I want a lot of people to get into this one. And then we'll do a big ticket item, introduce it tomorrow, but I'll spin this pinwheel tomorrow. I got to organize the people that were in the actual raffle, because we had some people that came in just recently. Chad, I got you. Chris Waldman got you. So again, to get into this early week raffle, it's a 2-for-1. You get the 2 hats, $5 up to 3 entries. Bama_YouTube on Venmo, Cash App, Bama YouTube. And if you have any questions about the shipping, you can just email me directly to nmpreps@gmail.com. Like if you want something in the past, but all the gear has been shipped out. And I do have, if you've won gear before, send me a picture to my email so I can get like a list of all you guys in the gear. But thank you so much, for being here today on the show. I really appreciate it. I want to continue to get better in my craft on having these shows, even in the summertime. I look at it in the consistency of performance. Thank goodness we cover Alabama, so there's daily topics to talk about, and the recruiting is still at a high level. But I know that I have to improve on my game, and I know that I have to improve as a content creator. So I really appreciate you guys believing in me and supporting the content. Whether it's super chats, whether it's the raffle, whether it's any other, ideas I bring to the table. So I really appreciate you guys, joining me every single day, Monday through Friday, or as news happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So thank you very much for watching today's show. If you liked it, drop a thumbs up, send me a comment inside the comment box, and, we'll catch up with you soon as news happens. We're right back here on Bama Football on YouTube. Coming to you on this beautiful Tuesday, May 27th, Kyle Anderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Stay blessed. Stay where your feet are at. If you're into the men's devotional, I'll drop the link inside the comment box right now. So thank you so much for being here one more time. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa on this beautiful Tuesday, May 27th, Kyle Anderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Have a blessed day. See ya.